And I think the answer for parents out there, there's a root to every problem. It's not Halo's not the problem.
Right.
It's like, what am I doing to create an environment where they don't have the aspirations to do something? Like maybe they don't see me doing things that are interesting, or like I go to work, but whatever. I come home, I'm not like applying myself. I just want to sit and watch TV. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 50 of the Blimey Cow podcast.
Jordan and I call this segment The Current Man.
Why was she laughing at that, even briefly?
Ça va?
No parking brake.
What's the next one? Oh,
Men
no.
not thinking through their decisions.
He knows what I felt like. I feel like someone would need to get a fire extinguisher.
This is gonna blow up in the man's hand.
That goes out for my heart.
He's like, oh no!
See, the trick is you're supposed to use diesel. If you use diesel fuel, you could do that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You could pour diesel all on a fire and light it, and it wouldn't like blow up. You know, now nobody do what I said because I could be absolutely wrong, but I don't think that I am.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Blimey Cow podcast. Every Friday, we try to make the world a little less messy. My name is Josh.
And I'm Jordan, and we do succeed with that, Josh. We make it a little less messy. This week's question we've got comment below: would you rather live alone or with roommates?
Hey, would you like to go to camp with us? We'd love to have you here in Tennessee, September 20th to the 22nd for BlimeyCon 2024. If you've ever wanted to roast s'mores and talk conspiracy theories with us, this is your chance.
Yes. We've got a live recording of Christian meme review, games, and tons of activities. So head over to blimeycow.com/BlimeyCon 2024 to get your tickets.
Ticket prices go up May 16th, so do it now.
Yes.
And if you want a free Blimey Cow t-shirt, then head over to supportblimeycow.com. When you join, you get a free Blimey Cow shirt as our way of saying thank you. We also give our supporters a bonus segment of the podcast and bonus messages.
And free hugs when we see them at BlimeyCon 2024.
Side hugs.
Side hugs.
Give them a side hug. Head over to supportblimeycow.com today to join the greatest community on the internet. And thank you to Grace Bosco, Joel Markham, and Joshua Gissy for joining this week. Appreciate you guys.
Don't forget to check out the Clips channel. Everything you love about this podcast, but without the time commitment. Okay, we've passed 1,000 subs, but we still need the watch time to get any pennies.
We're getting close.
So help us out there, guys. At Blimey Cow Clips. Check it out. Clips every day.
Well, yeah.
Almost
Hopefully
every day.
by the time this goes out, we'll be back to every day. As you'll hear, I've had kind of a crazy week, so. Thank you to Clean Fiction for sponsoring this episode. This print and digital magazine strives to place amazing clean fiction in the hands of those who would enjoy it. They specialize in indie fiction and small presses, so you'll always be finding out about new books you wouldn't have heard about elsewhere.
That's right. If you're interested in reading a Christian-based publication that reviews and promotes both religious fiction as well as clean secular fiction, Clean Fiction is the magazine you didn't realize that you needed.
These pages contain book reviews from genre-specific reviewers, plus there are really cool serial stories from independent authors, there's devotions, poetry, and articles about various missions too.
It's a great community too. Go vote for the summer cover contest. Voting ends on May 11th.
Get a little medallion.
Pretty
That
cool.
looks kind of like this. For the next 3 Fridays, Clean Fiction is offering Blimey Cow fans a free digital version of the magazine, so click the link in the description to check it out. Only available for free on Fridays, so make sure you do it today.
Yes.
Or on Friday.
Click the link in the description below to get a free digital version of Clean Fiction, and then head to cleanfictionmagazine.com to find everything you need to get plugged into this amazing community.
All right, let's get to top stories. I ran a marathon on Saturday.
I called Josh, or he called me, and I said, some families, the big thing in their family is you're the first person to have graduated from college. Ours is you're the first person to run a marathon.
I probably am the first person in the
think
Taylor
so.
lineage. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
26.2 miles. All those years of seeing 26.2 stickers on the back of people's car and thinking that was obnoxious, and I mean that's
now you bought one.
Yeah, I didn't get one.
Oh,
I'm not that guy. But I just always thought that's crazy that how could anybody do that? How could you run that far? And I did it. I actually did it. So
how did it feel while you were out there? Because we were talking on the podcast, like worried hour 3 and 4. And also, I said it would take you about 4 hours and 10 minutes and took you 4 hours and
13 minutes. And if I hadn't had to walk up one hill near the end and I hadn't had to potty, which is a thing that can happen after 4 hours.
You think it would have been 4:10?
I think I could have done it in 4:10. Truly what happened was at mile 25, the sun came out. I started to overheat a little bit, and that made me feel a little panicky. And I was worried that I was going to look like I was ill or sickly when Mom and Dad and Kelly saw me, and I was going to freak everybody out. So I was like, okay, let's calm down. I actually just tried to start singing some like hymns to myself a little bit.
That's right.
And it actually worked.
Yeah.
Little Bibly. Anyways, but it made me just a little panicky. So I said, all right, I'm going to walk up this hill and I'll see how I feel instead of walking the rest of the way. And by the time I got up the hill, I felt fine. I was able to run the rest of the way. And even with all that said, that mile was still 11 and a half minutes. Yeah. So it wasn't even that bad. But then you got to go to the bathroom every once in a while. I tried to hold it, but I couldn't, guys. But anyways, it was good. I started to get really sore around mile 20, and I'm still very sore. But other than that, it went really well. It was a neat thing to have done.
You think any permanent damage?
No, I feel sore. I feel normal sore. I don't feel like I hurt myself. I was just worried I was going to hurt myself. Yeah. But I just feel sore in that way that I haven't felt sore in a long time because I'm decently in shape now. The sore that I will feel when I start strength training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I have not been strength training. But anyways, it was nice to accomplish the last
hurrah,
not crazy person thing to do. Like I would consider a triathlon, no offense, Jordan, a crazy person thing. Yeah. Like good for God bless you if you do it.
Yeah, if you do a Ironman, that's crazy. There's a smaller triathlon, right? Yeah, Ironman is just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, if you do it, I'll never be more proud of you for anything in your whole life. But no, I don't think there's anything past what I did that is something I'm going to conceivably do. But it was, I've never been super athletic, so it was cool. When you said that to me on the phone, I thought, wow, I've never had this feeling of do an athletic feat that no one else in our family has done. So that was cool.
That's pretty cool.
It was neat, and I'll probably never do it again. Mom was very relieved when I said that.
Yeah, Mom,
praise the Lord.
I talked to Mom on the phone, and that's what she said. She's like, he said he wasn't going to do this again. So
number one story from Saturday was not that I completed a marathon, is that I'm never doing it again. For Mom.
I was keeping track of Josh on I guess there's like an app or whatever, and I typed in this number. And I was confused. It said, "Are you a runner?" And I was like, "Well, if I say no, are they going to say I can't look at your number?"
No,
so I just said yes, and then just clicked your number to see.
I don't think it makes a difference.
Okay. Well, anyways, I was out cutting down one of my trees because it had broken because it's a very old maple. I think it's maples grow fast. I thought it looks like it's 100 years old, but everybody says that about trees, and the tree's actually 70 years old. And it's oh, okay. You just think 100 years old, it's old. So I don't know how old it is, but it's huge. I mean, this trunk of this tree is just massive. Two people couldn't put their arms around it. That's how big it is. I'll show you after we film. But I'm out there. It's hot, it's not hot at the start of the day, and I'm out there for a while because it snapped in half after a storm. I had to clean it up so it didn't kill all the grass, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I'm out there, and I'm just keeping track of Josh every hour or so to see where you're at. And I was like, dude, he's going to do this in 4 hours and 10 minutes. That's hilarious. And so I'm just you have my chainsaw, put it down, turn it off, check the app. It's going to be 4 hours and 10 minutes. No way. Just keep doing that. And then the sun comes out. And it had been windy. It felt very nice.
It did.
Cool.
It was the best running weather.
That's what I told Mom. I said, Josh, if he ever does another marathon, it will never top the weather that was now.
God showed me grace.
And normally it's very cold and rainy around this time, because on Sarah's birthday, and Sarah's birthday is always cold and rainy. It got really hot. And but I didn't really quite even think about you. I was just oh man, it's hot. And we kind of downtown in here. It's not super far away, but enough that maybe there's still cloud coverage there. I don't even know where you're running from.
At that point, I was in East Nashville.
Okay. So anyways, I didn't really associate that you were going to be feeling that heat too, because I like had to sit down for a while.
Yeah.
Because I was getting very hot.
Well, it wasn't even that it was that hot. It was just that if you had been out in the outside already working for a while,
that long,
and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
so you've been hit with these UV rays through the cloud coverage anyway, and then the sun actually comes out, and
you're already hot, and then it's like, oh wow, now I'm like, my body's trying to acclimate to this.
Exactly. I was just at a point in the mileage that I had never done before, and I thought, I don't know if this is just normal that I'm hot or if I'm actually overheated and I'm about to pass out.
Yeah.
And I really didn't want, like at that point in the run, you're passing people that are getting IVs and stuff.
Yeah.
Because everybody is like pushing themselves a little further than they probably ever have before, as I was. So, anyways.
So it was funny hearing you when we talked on the phone after that.
Yeah.
You mentioned, oh yeah, I got really hot, like mile 25 or 24, 25. And I thought, oh, that's so funny because that's when the sun came out. And I was checking the app, and that's when I got really hot and sat down for a little bit. It was just funny. We kind of had we were doing difficult things at the same time, just completely different.
Well, tell me about this tree. You've got big plans?
Yeah, so the big plans for this tree is I love this tree. My neighbors all love this tree. It's a pretty legend tree because it's broken several times from storms, whatnot. So it's regrown and the trunk just keeps getting bigger. So it finally broke again. So I want to preserve this tree trunk because they're still alive. Like this tree is
beautiful tree trunk.
Yeah, and the tree is so big that a branch that's coming off of it is literally the size of like a tree coming off the side of it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, dude, I can't lose this. So I'm trying to figure out a way, and I've come up with a way. I'm gonna have you and Dad come over and help me dig this thing.
Okay.
To preserve this tree and then cut a hole like a door for people to be able to walk in, and then to walk through. Just a fun little thing because the tree is pretty much dead at this point. So whatever. Preserve it and then keep that one branch tree that's coming off the side and cut it enough though so that it doesn't weigh it down too much, and then put a swing on that, and then maybe have that doorway kind of open up to a pavilion or some kind of play area. We're having kids now, so to be able to maybe put a play area there. It'd be sweet.
You're going to have so much fun building stuff for the kids in the backyard.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So that's kind of the first thing. That was the first thing I was thinking of. This would be like the first kind of specific thing I would be kind of thinking of as I was doing it. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. I haven't seen anybody online do anything like this. You can find people. I mean, obviously, it's easy to cut a doorway into a tree if it's dead, but like it's going to rot. So I'm trying to do it in a way and come up with a way to completely make it not be touching dirt, even though it looks like it's like still touching dirt.
Wouldn't the tree still rot if it wasn't touching the dirt?
Well, no, because you can treat the tree. You can
okay.
Put and what I want to do is cut the roots like within a 5-foot radius of the tree, like dig and cut the roots, but the roots are still there. Yeah. You clear out all the dirt, maybe pour some drip water in there to get all that dirt out, but be able to pour concrete.
Okay.
So that literally the roots is like the support structure still for this to not fall. And then
that'd be so cool.
You wouldn't even be able to see that was there.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, but even if you could, it would still look cool.
Do you want to actually put a door on it or just have an opening?
Probably just an opening.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to not be a perfect door because it is rotted. This tree is very old, so it's not doing so well, but there are parts that are very intact still. So I kind of need to see, I don't want to cut the good parts away. Mm-hmm. So it honestly might just be that I chip out the rotted part, and it's kind of like this thing that you can kind of squeeze through. Little kids, kids would love that. Almost would be cooler than just walking through a door.
Isaac and Elliot would eat that up.
So that's probably what's going to end up happening. Everything I think isn't going to take a long time, but I know that will take a long time. But if I have you and Dad over to help dig that,
I could just rent out
yeah, exactly. And I was like, I could rent out something from Home Depot, I guess, to help dig. But there's kind of going to be an art to this because you want to keep the roots intact enough to be able to.
Yeah, you can't just force it.
And you don't want this tree to be moving around because you want to keep it kind of in the same spot. So it's going to be a whole crazy thing because the root, it's going to be able to topple over. So I'm going to have to support it with a bunch of 2x4s and stuff, stake down and hold it up.
Yeah.
And let it dry for a little while so that. because it's wet right now. So when you can't just pour the concrete immediately, because then the wood could shrink.
Yeah.
While it's drying. So it needs to sit for a couple months to dry out and then do that. So we'll see if it works, but it'd be pretty cool.
Okay. So this is happening at least a couple months from now, you're saying?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Very good. So it can dry during the summer, and I can maybe
gotcha.
do it in October.
Okay.
For the concrete. We'll see.
Okay.
So that's the whole thing. But anyways, that was.
We'll see how up for a project like that you are with a 1, 2, 3 month old baby.
I will surprise us all. I think. We'll see.
You might be itching for a project. You might just remember this and say Josh was right.
Yeah,
it could really go either way. It could go either way.
Yeah.
Okay, very fun. Christian meme review.
Yeah. God creates a worm. Hello, little buddy. Worm. Thanks for the worm. Welcome. Haha. God creates birds. That's my kind of God right there.
This is your kind of God.
Earth. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
This is also your kind of God.
Oh boy, what in the world? When God sends you sign. Yeah. I don't think that picture's altered. What do you think? I think it is.
I don't know. I think if it was altered, it would look a little bit more clear. That looks like a little accident, a funny, goofy thing. Oh, that is a Christian meme.
I thought so. I found most
because you're
of
praying
mine,
too.
Yeah, you are. Please. Most of mine don't really go into the Christian meme realm, but they do it in some sense.
They do because
makes
they're
sense.
funny to you, a Christian.
Yeah. So
With a very niche sense of humor that I don't think applies to the secular world. Okay. But that is funny.
Man.
I can see an atheist laughing at that.
Can you? I do.
Not
too.
as hard as a Christian would.
No, because they didn't pray. Dear Jordan and Josh, I am a 23-year-old woman and I just accepted a dream job in my field of study. The problem is that I have to move 17 hours away to a different state. 17 hours? My father has very strong political beliefs, and this state's government is run by the opposite political party to which he belongs. The company is also a Christian company. My father is a staunch atheist and hates religion. I thought this was going the other direction.
I know. That's why I picked it, because I thought so too.
I know my dad wants me to be happy, but I feel like he is also disappointed that I'm choosing a career path that goes against his values. This actually does make sense. I can't imagine like a conservative person be like a conservative father being like, don't, because Gavin Newsom in California.
Don't you dare move to California.
It's just like, okay, well, just do your best. They're kind of crazy out there, I guess. But I'm worried he won't even want to visit me once I'm moved away, because he would be financially supporting this state and its evil governor. His words, not mine. Do you have any advice on how to try and maintain a good relationship with him? What state?
Florida.
Yeah. Look, your dad he's gone. He's like,
he watched too much news.
I don't even care what news he watched. He watches too much. I don't care
Too
what
much
it is.
24-hour news.
That's to the point that he wouldn't want to. That you're scared that your dad won't visit you because of a governor.
Think about it for a second.
Think how much time the man has on his hands
Think
to
about
come up with this.
Think about how much time he has left in his life, and this is how he chooses to live it. Sad. Oh, man.
It's just incredible. So the question is, how do I try and maintain a good relationship? There is no good relationship already. How do you fix a broken man? That's the question.
Fox News isn't going to help him.
No. Fox News, CNN, they're purposely pitting them against father and daughter against each other.
What is it that we're conditioned here, going back to your point, to when we read the first half of this, to think, oh, this is some girl trying to move to California, New York, or something.
Because of the news.
Yeah,
The news.
It even gets us.
It
Yeah.
does. It really does.
These hateful people that don't even want their children to move to states they disagree with.
Like a conservative would still think that. I feel like don't whatever. All right. Well, look, it's their life. Let them do what they want to do. I feel like that's what the more. But who knows? I mean, maybe I could be wrong. But
I don't know.
to say I'm not going to go visit you because of Gavin Newsom, because of Justin Trudeau, you're going to move to Canada. I will not.
I don't
visit
know
you
if I
because
go
of
to
Justin.
Canada.
I wouldn't. That was a bad example. I won't visit you because of. I don't know, man. It just seems crazy. It's unbelievable.
It's different going to a different state where you can get home. I would be afraid to leave the country.
That's true.
At this point,
Yeah, I mean,
Who knows what's gonna happen?
Well, we went. That's what I mean, because we traveled to the Dominican Republic.
right? You really took a risk. Who knows what's gonna
2
happen?
weeks later, the cannibals came out. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, I did.
It was
Yeah.
2 weeks. That port was probably closed. Like the place I was at was literally probably closed.
That's what this guy's worried about. He's worried about all the
You know what?
cannibals
You're
coming out.
actually right.
That's what he thinks is gonna happen.
He does think that. It's really hard to get yourself into the mindset of somebody who really believes all this, because it's sad. Because it's like I believe more than you do, but like in a way, but I'll still go there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You have a spiritual trust that you're going to be okay at the end. Someone's
You're right.
looking out for you. This guy, being a staunch atheist and a hater of religion, he is his own god.
So he has to be ultimate control.
No one's watching his back. Okay.
That is a sad way to live, isn't it? You kind of tend to not to forget about that.
If you have a governor who's out to get you, that guy is placing like there's no God. You don't want to be close to a bad God. What does this girl do? What does she do? Any advice to save this man, to help him, or at least to salvage? I don't know. I feel like lately we've been getting these messages from these crazy parents, and it's just like. Yeah. But we have parent privilege.
We do. So
what
it
would
is
we
difficult.
do? What would we do?
I mean,
can't even put myself.
Yeah, I mean, just be like, I see. I don't think of it. You always have to get to the root of the problem. You know what I mean? So it's not that you're moving away that your dad then has a bad relationship with you. It's that he's just a warped, twisted person, and so something happened, and now his true colors are coming out more. So you can't really keep a good relationship with somebody like that. I think that's where a lot of kids go wrong, is that they realize that their parents are kind of unhinged, and they didn't really realize that in the past. But now it's like, well, I need to. This has got to be my fault somehow, because even if you're older, you still think that in some way. Like, my parents are always right.
Right.
Even if I am living in a culture and believe and like am always, you're living in a world where it's always like your parents are always wrong. Which isn't true.
Right.
But they're also not always right.
Right.
So people really push the other direction of my parents are always wrong, but then in their heart they think I'm only saying that because I'm compensating, because I actually believe my parents are always right.
That is so true. You have kids who believe their parents are wrong about everything, who need to understand, no, they're right about a lot of things. And then you have kids who think their parents are right about everything. It's like, no, they're wrong about some things.
It's extremely hard to live that way, because then you are the mediator. You're the one who is then an adult, because you are determining, okay, they're right here. They're probably wrong here.
Yeah.
Okay, this person is more right than they are in this. Oh, I'm actually have some agency in my life. I can choose what happens. I can make decisions. It's much easier to believe that your parents are always right or always wrong.
Even our kids, being as small as they are, obviously you can't explain all these nuances to them. Yeah. But I try to make a conscious effort to say, you know what, Isaac, I made a mistake. I should not have done that. When I said that to you that way, that I should have found a better way to say that, or I should have been kinder.
Exactly.
Just to reinforce and say, oh, Daddy messes up sometimes.
Because then when they mess up, it doesn't wreck their world.
Right.
It's like, well, Dad's perfect.
Right.
and I'm not. So what's wrong with me?
Oh, I messed up like Daddy did. That's why when I can tell he's genuinely, one of them is genuinely feels bad about something they did. I always think, okay, when was the time I did this? And I try to tell them that story. And I can tell it always means a lot to Isaac when I do that. He's always like, talk about that time that you made it. Like something hardwired in a kid's head wants to believe the parent is always right. And so when the parent fails that test, then they want to recoil and say, well, you're always wrong. Yeah. And it's like, no, but you both have made mistakes here.
It's funny though, because even when you admit that you're not always right all the time, that you make a mistake, it still to the kid is, see, my dad's always right.
Yeah.
You know?
Even if admitted to a mistake.
Right.
What a perfect dad.
Exactly. You can't escape it. It always will be that way.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, it's weird. It's almost like it's supposed to be that way for some reason.
I agree with that.
Humans have to believe that their parents are always right for some reason. It helps us, even if it is a lie.
It's a struggle or hurdle that you have to cross in your life. It's just a thing you have to understand as you get older. And there's no way for anybody else to teach it to you. You just have to realize it yourself. And then it's up to you, hopefully having been raised by good parents, to deal with that knowledge in a healthy way.
Exactly.
Because if you're a well-adjusted person who was raised well, then that's actually a relief to find out.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, okay, I don't have to be so stressed out all the time.
Right.
Like, my kids will be fine.
Right.
Like I'm not
exactly.
I'm doing
not
okay.
like this. Oh, okay. I see. You thought you acted like you had it all figured out. Now I find out this and this and that. We're done.
Bleep you.
Bleep
I'm done.
you.
Bleep you.
I don't know that we actually helped young professional here.
I absolutely completely forgot we were answering a message. I did. I thought we were on deep thoughts or something. I forgot. Take something out of that and fix your life. There you go. That's fine. No, we're done.
Jordan, how much do you think a double steak bowl at Chipotle is in California?
Well, considering the HTML said 39, I'm assuming 39.
$39.
That's crazy.
So that begs the question for me. At what is the price when you just stop going out to eat? Do you have could you yourself come up with a number? Like where you just say, I'm not going out to eat at all anymore?
I mean, that.
Well, certainly that, but I would say even less than that.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, when we go out, and granted, we have kids now and stuff, and so they got to get a kids, and now they're getting big enough that they want separate kids meals. We used to be able to get away with them splitting a kids meal.
Okay.
The other day we went out to eat, and it was the first time they both got their own grilled cheese sandwiches. And they both ate the whole thing, too. So I said, all right, okay. But, yeah, it's hard to go out for less than $30 even.
Yeah.
Even just like fast food.
Yeah. My neighbor was just talking about that. He and his wife went out to eat, and it was like at Arby's, and it cost like $42 for two people. Or something ridiculous. It was like, what?
I mean, in some way, good news, bad news. Is that good news? Because we don't eat out very much for that reason. Like, I would love to take the boys out to eat sometimes and just try to get healthier food if you can and just have some fun. But when it's like $30, you have to really think about it each time. Mm-hmm. It's like, or I could buy groceries.
Yeah, I know. That's what I think. After I go out to eat, it's like, okay, but like how much meat could I have bought at home from Kroger for this?
How many eggs?
How many eggs could I have bought?
Yeah, but good for 2 weeks.
Yeah, or I'm just going to have a meal now. So, it's the experience. You don't have to clean up. You can just sit down. People waiting on you.
Yeah.
But I know, but it's like, so you can't, it's not just like apples to apples, but at the same time, it's like, it seems insane. But, is it good news or bad news? Anything that kind of starts to show people, hey, this is what voting for these people always does. This is the real, like anything that kind of brings to light like the actual rot that's really behind the scenes.
Until you stop giving foreign aid to everybody forever and ever, amen, and spending money like insane.
It's amazing that it's not higher than this. That shows you how powerful the United States economy, I feel like, actually is, that we can actually withstand that for so many years since, after 9/11.
Yeah.
we've been able to sustain this for
Right.
20-something years.
Right.
And
You're right.
now we're finally, now there's a small generation where it's like, whoa, like
Right.
this
This
is
is-
what's going to happen next. And then like in the next 5 years, it's going to be like, oh my Lord, we're screwed.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how powerful we were.
Yeah,
And
you're
now
right.
it's all crumbling.
And it does certainly feel like we're at the end of it. $39 Chipotle steak bowls. I think we went out to eat one time at a place at the mall, and it was like $40 for all of us to eat. And I remember that, and that was the last time we went
Yeah.
to that place. And I think that $40,
Yeah, that starts to seem insane.
that's when I just would, if everything was $40 to go out to eat, I would stop going out to eat. $30 is like, okay, we'll do this sometimes as a family for fun.
Yeah.
$40 and it's
Yeah.
not healthy to eat out anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I can buy a lot of good food for $40 at
Yeah.
the grocery store
Yeah.
next to this restaurant.
Yeah, I think a lot of restaurants are just going to close. I really do. I think at some point there's going to be enough people that happens to, and it's probably going to happen slower than we think
Yeah.
because people love.
I mean, I
eating
feel like
out.
that's already started. Like
Yeah.
restaurants have started closing.
It'd just be mass closing.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that's like this weird inflated thing for some reason.
Which
and-
is terrible because that's such a good first job. That
Yeah.
was Kelly's first job.
it
Working
was,
at a
yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
It was. Now what people are going to end up doing is more manual labor things.
I hope
Mowing.
so.
Kids are going to get into mowing lawns. Kids are going to get into, hopefully.
Hope so.
No.
I'm reading a book right now that I'll talk about a little bit later in the show that was talking about like why boys in particular have such a lack of motivation, and it was giving an anecdote of a guy who was trying to recruit people to go to trade school for like plumbing and stuff, and saying like, hey, you don't even have to go get a degree. You can just start making tens of thousands of dollars right out of high school, and if you get committed to it, you can easily make over $100,000. Nobody wanted to do it.
Wow. Is it because they don't know anybody who they look up to that has that trade?
And it's still ingrained in people's heads to go to college,
Yeah.
which I think that's not gonna last too much longer either.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it will. I think a lot of it will go back to kids, boys in particular, doing these more trade things. That's going to be cool. And I have a good read of what is starting to get popular on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Just kind of like the general. I feel like my YouTube recommended is pretty. There's nothing particularly niche about what. I feel like it's a good conglomerate of what a lot of different people like kind of are into.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a lot of videos about stuff like that, like people kids, 18, starting their own businesses and
Okay.
not
Good.
going to college and making a lot of money. And it's crazy the amount of views that these get. And this is kind of becoming more common. So I'm wondering if that is
Boys are hungry
inspiring.
for it.
I think that's inspiring people because they don't want to go to college anymore. And so I
Yeah.
think those videos are really starting to kind of blow up more.
Yeah. That's
So we'll see.
that's good news.
That's what I'm saying. All this is just showing that guys in particular are going to have to be like, hey, look, we kind of need to take our lives into our own hands and figure out we're not going to pay $40. Or if we're going to have to be able to afford $40, we need to do something. It'll be interesting. The next 10 years.
I mean, Chipotle is pretty good for you, I guess, in terms
Relatively,
of
yeah.
relatively speaking. But even still, I don't know, something about just cooking food in your home. You know what's as far as you can. You know what's in the ingredients, and
Yeah, Chipotle just and then we'll end this section, but it really just stresses me out. I don't go in there for that reason.
Yeah, I've only been in there once, and I got like a salad, so
Yeah.
it was pretty easy.
I don't like making my own food.
I know.
at
You don't like
places.
Subway either.
This is the weird thing. I actually do like Subway.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I like Subway more.
It's the one you know.
Yeah, I spent all of college, and it's probably just because I have a nostalgia thing for it. But all of college, that's where me and Sarah would go.
I see.
There was a Subway right outside Tribeca.
Yes, there is.
And it's still there.
Yeah.
And
Is it?
It's got bars on it now. But yeah, it's still there, and we would go there once a week, and we would split.
That's cool.
We would split a oven roasted chicken.
I loved going down there. That's cool. I'm glad y'all have that memory.
Yeah, the guy who worked there liked Sarah, and
What?
she went there like with one of her girlfriends one time, and I think he was new, and we were in there all the time, so like they knew who we were, but this guy didn't. So then one day I like walked in with her, and she said that he was acting like different. That's funny. So I don't know if he still works there. Probably not.
What would you like on your ham sandwich? Little spit, little snot,
Little love. You just start spitting in it.
Have a nice day. So there I am running a marathon, and I was caught up on all my YouTube videos and podcasts and whatever, and so I was like freaking out. I was like, oh no. So was I the only one out of the tens of thousands of people running that day listening to Adventures in Odyssey? You bet. But I also went on Audible, who's not a sponsor of this channel anymore, so I shouldn't even name drop them. They were once a great service to us. Just kidding. They're still a good service. They gave us many dollars over many years.
They helped us a lot.
Anyways,
it's hard not to be bitter when people, you miss people, Josh.
I miss them. I miss them. I miss the money. Anyways, I saw a book recommended called Boys Adrift. And it was just about the current crisis of manhood for boys and
This
stuff.
was before you started running?
This is before I started running.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
but this is what I listened to for the majority of my run.
Oh.
Super interesting book. Super interesting. What I want to talk about today, though, the main takeaway isn't even really about boys. Though I do recommend, if you heard me say what the book was about and it sounded at all interesting, you should check this book out.
Man or woman.
He even gets into plastics.
Josh, I don't know what that means.
He gets into the plastics, you guys don't use plastic bottles, right?
No.
That's what I'm saying. He thinks that the plastics.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that he got into like the plastic manufacturing business.
No.
Like,
One of his things that he thinks is happening to boys right now, one of the reasons that like sperm counts are so low and stuff, has to do with the plastics.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, of course.
Okay.
Switch to glass mason jars. Things
Exactly.
Like that.
That's what he said to do.
I'm on the same wavelength as this guy.
I know that. That's why I said it.
So it's almost like I tailored my message to you, Jordan.
And then you were like, "Yeah, I use plastics. What are you talking about? I'm not in the industry, though.
You're
Not like this guy. You're a plastics guy, right?" Anyways, he was talking about how bad computers are for kids, and here's why. He said that when you go to type in a web address or something, unless there's something wrong with your computer, it immediately obeys your command.
That's right.
You're sitting on something for hours a day, be it your computer or a phone, that immediately responds in the affirmative to every action, every command you give it.
That's a good. I've never thought of that. That's a good point. That is.
Before that, you were interacting with human beings who you have to reason with. And use rationality and understand the specific quirks of each person you're talking to. So you couldn't go into every interaction the way that you could walk up to any computer and do the same thing. If I walk up to somebody new, I'm starting from square one. I have built-in understandings from talking to other people, but this might be a person different than anybody else I've ever spoken to, and then I'm having to use my brain to figure out how best to communicate with this person. Or if I need them to do something for me, I have to figure out the best way to ask for that.
Yeah, I want that makes sense, but at the same time, I almost wonder if that sounds a lot like if you play Halo, you're gonna go out and shoot people.
That's kind of
you know what I mean?
That's part of
maybe if you're just completely isolated and play 24/7. But if you
he gets into video games. He's
what's
a lot
his take?
More conservative, I guess. Maybe it might be the best. I don't know if that's the best term.
He doesn't want people to play Halo.
He doesn't think people should be playing violent. He thinks boys shouldn't play. There was like a list of criteria, like does the game employ violence? Is the violence glorified? Is it meant to be funny? Blah blah blah. And it was like if the game your kid is playing meets any two of these, then you should probably not let them play it. Which, I mean, now that I have kids, I get not wanting them to, and for me, it's not, I don't want you living out these actions.
Like, because you can call a kid compartmentalize. Like, this is not real. This is
right.
Like, I'm almost wondering if that's the same way with typing in on a URL. It's like, okay, this isn't real. Real life, there's way more nuance. Now, maybe they're just not as practiced at it, but to be like, you will listen to my commands because I have typed in URL.
Right.
It's
well,
like,
when you pair computers with like porn and stuff, where it's literally just I found what I want to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm watching that thing happen now. And so
that's where it gets.
You know what I'm saying? So it's more levels up of the same idea. But I just had never thought about that idea. And I agree. I'm not sure how deep I take that thought, especially considering he's talking about you shouldn't play Halo. Like, we played Halo growing up. And we're fine. Look at us now. But we were a little bit older when we started playing Halo.
That's true.
I think that Halo.
You do have to think about that.
Yeah, I think Halo 2 was getting ready to come out by the time we started Halo, so that would have been like 2003. So I would have been like 14 or 15 probably when I started playing Halo. I feel like we were a little bit younger than that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that. I almost wonder if I didn't play it that much.
You played it as much as I did.
But I wonder, because like the controls were just so big. I remember when we first
you would have
got
been like 11 or 12.
When did we first get the Xbox though? Because I remember when I went to GameStop when that first came out, or Walmart.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't hold the Xbox controller. 2000 or
2001. So you'd been like 11 or 12. But that would have been right around the time you probably would have started puberty and getting taller bigger and stuff.
I just remember when the Xbox first came out, I could not grab the controllers because they were so big.
Yeah, we didn't play Halo when it first came out.
That's what I thought.
The second one was getting ready to come
then
out.
I played a lot then.
Yeah. No, you played as much as I did. I'll tell you that. But anyways, he takes it that far and thinks that as little screen time as you can get away with, which I agree with that.
Yeah.
To some degree. It's like, and if you're going to be on screen time, don't watch violent stuff or don't interact with violent stuff. But he also, I don't know. I don't want to get into all this.
But I get as a parent, you walk past, you see your kid playing a game where they're just shooting aliens and things, and it's like, of all the things in this universe to be doing, why that?
Right. Well,
but that's where you become a dogmatic parent, and it's like, you see,
I'll tell you why. I mean, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, I've read a book where it was talking about how even in schoolwork, you shouldn't like get into like if your kid's not doing their school, and this is a weird thing probably, but if your kid's not doing their school, well, that's their task.
Yeah.
So they're ruining their future, but that's not your responsibility, even though it is in a way. But it's not. But the answer isn't do your schoolwork.
Right.
Okay, the answer is how can I get them to see that this is valuable?
Right.
And this is you cannot force a child to do something. Imagine they said no. They just keep saying no. You cannot actually physically open their eyes and make them study. They could say no. They have the agency to do that. So your whole life is as a parent, is trying to figure out, how do I get them to understand what their tasks are and that they have sole responsibility of those, and I'm here to guide them to help them to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But it's their responsibility to do it, and I can't make them do a darn thing.
Right. That's why video games are so powerful, especially for boys, because, and I don't remember the exact term that was used, but it's essentially boys especially want to control their environment. Yeah. And so video games give them that in spades because you are in control of every motion that's happening in that game, and it's also giving you this kind of sense of valor to some degree, which in the book he says like that's great. Like it makes sense that boys want those things, and it makes sense why they like video games, but they need to be getting those things from something real versus this addictive property that didn't exist 20, 30, 40 years ago or whatnot. But that's part of why boys lack motivation, because they can get that rush in a safe, quiet, dark room. They don't have to go out and actually risk anything.
Exactly. And I think the answer for parents out there is not to say, hey, you don't play this, you can't play this, but to like give them, you know, everything, there's a root to every problem. It's not, Halo's not the problem.
Right.
It's like, what am I doing to create an environment where they don't have the aspirations to do something? Like I can create an environment where maybe they don't see me doing things that are interesting, or like I go to work, but whatever, I come home, I'm not like applying myself. I just want to sit and watch TV.
Right.
Well, what's the difference?
Right.
If dad sits and watches TV 2 hours and watches the news for 3 hours.
I already put my hours in.
That's exactly what happens. And then kids get bitter at their dads because their dads aren't spending time with them. But then they're like 16 and they're like, well, I don't, screw my dad. I don't need my dad. When they really do need him. And so then they start playing Halo and they start feeling, oh, I got to. It's just
Another thing I mentioned in the book was that if the parent is playing the game with the kid, then this is a little more loosey-goosey, because that can be a good thing. Actually. And so that was encouraging to because Kelly and I worry about, like, should the boys be playing video games already? I don't know. Let's at least keep it like non-violent, but also,
you know, Minecraft, things like this.
Yeah, Minecraft.
They're creating
things.
It's a little easier to.
But playing with them, I think, has been the most beneficial thing. It doesn't matter what we're playing, as long as daddy is playing with them. So, and I want to keep that up. And that gets easier as they get older, because they can play things that are a little more like interesting.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
whatnot. Right. And it'll be fun one day to play Halo with the kids.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that'll be a great day.
Good thoughts, Josh. Conspiracy theory. I've got a good one.
Here we go.
You know, we're kind of in this world where it's not that you doubt the moon landing, but everything's in question these days.
Sure.
And so it's like, I don't know. I mean, could everybody have been in on it? I mean, all the countries were in on it when they closed everything down. So I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't want to doubt stuff, but you're forcing me to be this way. That's, you know what I mean? I am on guard for good reason. So then everything is just like starts to go out the window, and you're like, God, just take one more thing from me, please. I want to believe. I want to believe. Yeah. Well, India, they just flew out a probe, and I guess they're I don't know if they're landing on the moon or not, but they're in orbit around the moon. I think they are right now. But they actually took pictures of Apollo 11 and 12. And so you would think an unbiased source is India. They don't care about it. Do we give them money? I don't think. Sure. Well, then forget. I don't know that. But if you know what, you would think India. You know, maybe if it was like some European country that were like bullying constantly, like, but you know,
Russia would have to be keeping their mouth shut about this, and I don't think they would at this point.
That's right. You know, so I don't know. India took some pictures, and I got the pictures up on the screen. Have you seen them, Josh?
No, go ahead. Let's see if these look doctored.
No, they don't look doctored. These look like legit.
Wow, look
images.
at that.
No,
how about that?
They're really there. So I am. It's just, you know, I needed that, and I hope that it's. I hope it's not a doctored image. But you know, people go through and they parse through this stuff. If this was doctored, that, you know, on the internet, everyone would be. No one said anything.
Okay, good.
So I think that we're good. I think that's one thing we can check off the list, just like Taylor Swift with 50 Shades of Grey. Just put it in there, like, okay, it's fine, everything's okay.
All right, so we can take this off the conspiracy.
Yes. This really, and the other thing I want to say about this is that the thing that really kind of pees me off when it comes to the moon landing is when people are like, it's just, think about how hard that is. How hard that would be to do that. It's like, I can imagine sitting here alone, that seeming literally impossible. But if you have a group of that makes me think that people are just really egotistical about themselves. Yeah. Because it's like, yeah, you couldn't do it, but there's other people that can. Yeah. And if
You're
a lot of really smart people get together who have done this for a long time, then they can do amazing feats. That's why humans are awesome. So to say that a human, it's too hard to do that, I mean, I can see, I hear people say this, you know, not even just like people online, but just like people in real life. It's like, well, It just is too hard. It looks like it could be too hard. So maybe I never thought that's too hard. I just thought it hasn't been done yet. For some reason, there was a time where the U.S. needed to like say that we did this. And so now it's like, well, we don't really have a reason to do it because, well, we already said we did it.
Right.
So we can't make a big deal about it. So the motivation's not there anymore.
And we lost all the technology.
Yeah,
and
it's lost.
The data to do it again. So
anyway, but in my mind, I think the moon landing, that's like small potatoes. In my mind, when I think of what the human mind is capable of, the most powerful thing in the universe is like the human brain.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
Like we should be able to, like, I don't want to strive to go to the moon. I want to strive to be able to go to different galaxies. Like I literally think that that's real. That we just do that.
We just watched that IMAX documentary about deep sky where they have the telescope that is orbiting around
the Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just taking pictures of really deep space. And it is crazy.
It's awesome because they're able to focus the telescope in one spot as it's moving in one spot for hours and hours and hours, even so it's like compensating for it, taking still pictures, and then they're able to blow up the exposure really, really high, and they're able to see all these galaxies and warped space and time. So it's pretty amazing.
My favorite part about that documentary was that there was like a wormhole looking thing in one spot of one of the pictures, and the scientist guy was like, "We don't know what that is. Hopefully we'll figure it out." And I just thought that was cool. It was cool. It's like, yeah, we have the brain power and the technology to take these images, but we don't possess the knowledge or the wisdom yet to know what we're looking at.
And to go back to the Apollo 11 and 12, everybody is like so amazed that we did this, that we went, or they don't believe it. But it's like, man, let's like shoot for bigger and better things. Like, let's just get like the moon landing. That's great. I'm glad we could do that. But like, that's if all people on Earth are like, man, max is like we can go to Mars, we could go to the moon. It's like, dude, I feel like that's just limiting us so much, and make us not
rocket out into past the Milky Way.
Well, start figuring out more where it's like, well, maybe there is some kind of wormhole situation. Yeah. Maybe space and time is really folded, and we're able to go between the folds to get places faster. Stuff like that. Like, I really wonder if that's actually real.
That would be crazy.
But now it's like, well, we're just battling if the moon landing is real. It's like the moon, it's not even that far away. Of course we could go to the moon.
Anyone could go to the moon.
If you get some smart people together, you could go to the moon. Like,
and they did it. They did it.
So anyways, that's the conspiracy theory is off the shelf.
First time ever.
Thank God. We needed this one. We needed a W. We really did.
Good job, everybody. Good job to Jordan.
Thank you.
Optimism.
It was some optimism.
All right. It gave me hope.
Oh, yes, Josh. Mine, it gave me hope, was my lawnmower had been broken I have two broken lawnmowers. You're about to get confused, but one of my lawnmowers is broken right now. The like hydraulic like steering cylinder it is broken. It's leaking a lot. So just hydraulic oil is just pouring out of this thing whenever I turn. Because I have a mini tractor. It's a John Deere 425 for any John Deere fanatics. I'm not a John Deere fanatic, but I don't know enough about mechanical anything to like be a fanatic about something. But it is cool. It's a little mini tractor. You can put like attachments on it. You can put like a little dump on it. You can actually control it with the lever. It's hydraulic, which is really cool. That's unusual for the size that this is. It's very unusual. So it's literally designated as a mini tractor. So that's broken right now. And I'm able to fix that, which is really great. And while I was I was researching on what to do, and I was looking up how to fix it. And when I was out there and I was kind of cleaning up the garage to get the mower in a better spot, I saw my other older mower that I used before I knew anything. It was just like a push mower, but I mean, it is a push mower one that's automatic where you hold it and it propels itself.
They call those self-propel, but I think you could call a push mower.
That's what I thought. Whatever. So it's a self-propel mower, whatever, but you're standing and you're pushing the thing. Well, it had been broken, quote unquote, for like 2 years. Because like the handle broke on it. And I remember 2 years ago, I thought, how do you fix this? And like the mower worked fine. It was just I couldn't get the handle to like go back, and because it can go down and fold.
Right.
But then like there was like this spring on it that just broke my mind. I couldn't figure it out, and I was like, stupid. And so I could get it to work, but then when I'd be pushing it, it would like fall out of place again. I said, man, forget this. Then I ended up getting. I didn't get another mower because of that, but I needed a bigger mower because it was ridiculous. I was push mowing my entire lawn. I mean, I can't believe I actually used to do that. It's like over an acre, and I was doing that. So anyways, when I was cleaning up the garage to fix my new mower, I saw my old mower is still just laying, like, folded up. And I thought, I wonder if, like, I just flipped the thing up, and I just looked at it for 2 seconds, and I was like, oh, I just fixed it. Like, took 2 seconds.
Awesome.
And then I thought, this really is, well, that gave me hope, number one. I feel like I'm getting more competent. And it's dumb because it's like, to me, I was like, that was so stupid. Why was that so hard? But it was like the hardest thing ever to come up with how this spring, like, and it was a little weird what you had to do with this spring, but like, for some reason it just clicked. And I thought, this is so much like doing stuff like this. It really does feel like learning a language, like the mechanical world and just how tools work. It literally feels exactly the same as learning French. You just kind of acquire it. It's not like you're studying, I memorized what a screwdriver is, memorize what a spring. Because the spring, it's like, okay, I've never seen a spring like this. But this is a unique spring for this specific mower. It's a very weird mower. So to be able to use different things in context, you're not like learning that. It's just like you just acquire it, and it's like, oh, of course, that's how. And I realized, I always really admired people who could do that. It's like, oh, hey, I need you to fix this thing. And it's like, how could they? I couldn't come up with this. And then they just were like, oh, you just do that. And I was like, have you seen this before? No, you just put it there. And it's like, how do you possibly know that? So it's kind of cool. Now I'm realizing, and that's like the little stupid spring example. It was just one little thing that I was like, okay, you always feel the same every position that you're in.
Right.
If you're able to do more, you still feel like an idiot. Because it's like, man, these people know so much more than me. But then you think, man, there's so much I didn't know. Like, it's just like 2 years ago, even. It's amazing how
nice reminder that you're making progress.
Yeah, it was like a moment that I could actually feel like I could see a difference in what I was doing, which was nice. So that gave me hope.
That's cool. My gave me hope is. I've talked about this on the podcast before, that I always struggle at the end of the day. Like, did I get enough done? Did I do enough?
Oh yeah.
Was I a good enough dad today? Did I play with the boys enough? But also, did I work enough? All these things.
Of course.
Jordan shared that beautiful meme with me today. I'll put it back on the screen so you guys can look at it.
I had
again.
no idea that this would change Josh's life forever.
I love that meme. Anyways, this is super corny. You know what? Just cut this out. Wait, I'm cutting it. I'll just cut this out. This is my week. I was just started thinking, maybe there is some merit to just living each day like it's your last day. So if this is my last day, what would I do? Well, I would try to get my work done, and then I would play hard with the kids, and we'd have a good time. So, anyways, don't cut this out, Josh. It's just a short little thing. Don't make a clip of it. That's what.
That's what you meant to say.
That's what I meant to say. So there you go.
It's like not putting too much, living life like it's your last day. It's like not putting too much weight on the day, but then putting a lot of weight on the day at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a really good way to live.
What people are mostly saying when they say that is, hey, did you have a good attitude today? Were you nice to the people that you...
Exactly.
If that was your last interaction with your wife, how you feel about that? Hey, how's it going? Okay, all right. I'm going to bed. All right. All right.
We recommend. I realized that YouTube is actually a hindrance in some cases. You know how anytime we see people who are like can build cars, like, and they didn't have YouTube when they learned how to build cars. It's like, how did you possibly learn how to build cars when you weren't a mechanic? You just worked on your vehicle and you just piddled around, and then now all of a sudden you can like build antique cars. Like, that's literally what happened. And I think, man, YouTube is such a hindrance, because if I can't find it on YouTube, I just forget it. It's not that I give up. I just think, it's not.
It must be impossible.
It's impossible for my mind to do it. But what I realized trying to fix my my John Deere is that owner's manuals are incredible. there was no solution to what I was trying to fix. Like, you can't find an exact YouTube video how to replace a steering cylinder on John Deere 425 1996. Like, that video doesn't exist. You can find a bunch of different videos and kind of piece together okay, a steering cylinder generally does this. Is with a, for somebody who doesn't know much about this stuff, this is like kind of a big deal for me. Even though this is generally pretty easy. But how do you bleed the system of air? How do you do all this stuff? You kind of are trying to piece YouTube videos together, but it's like Sarah's brother. He loves John Deere. So he was like, just get the owner's manual and that would be worth looking at. And I was like, the owner's manual. So I just type on John Deere 425 owner's manual. And it's just like this crazy long owner's manual pops up. And it explains everything. It's literally for technicians. And I thought, the only difference between me and a technician is that a technician can read this and comprehend it and do it. I can't do it yet, but I can read it and comprehend it and suffer through it and be able to do it.
Right.
It will take me an infinitely longer amount of time, but that's literally the only difference. I can get the tool that I need. This isn't that complicated. It's I just have to read this manual and the part where it literally says steering cylinder.
Yeah.
It gives you step by step how to see what is wrong with it. If this is wrong with it, then do this. It's literally written like that. And then it literally explains to you what all the oil is doing. It has 3 different pictures. If you're turning to the left, this is how the hydraulic system works. This is this oil is pinched off so it can't move. This oil is free flowing. This is how it returns back to where it's supposed to be.
That's
cool.
It
shows you in graphs on how that works. And I was like, dude, what the heck? Who needs a YouTube video? You can just read this and I could literally study this and understand how that entire mower works and be able to take it apart. It literally explains it.
Actually know, not just how to fix some problem.
Yeah, exactly. You're not just doing one little thing and you don't know how the whole thing works.
Guy with the GoPro on his forehead. All right. Today I'm working on my John Deere 425 and just gonna just take this out.
Yeah, it's
You're
how did
scrolling through what the heck am I watching?
But he must if he didn't look at that owner's manual, he looked at another owner's manual to be able. I'm not gonna have to look at another owner's manual about a mower once. You can just be like, okay, okay. Because if I study this one and understand it, well, then you can kind of piece that pattern together on some other stuff. Yeah, so I was like, dude, owner's manuals are great, and maybe other owner's manuals aren't as amazing as the John Deere ones. I don't know because John Deere is a good brand. But those owner's manuals, it's crazy what's in there. So that's my recommend. Check out those owner manuals.
I was going to recommend Boys Adrift, but I've already talked a ton about it. So instead, I just want to re-recommend, because I've talked about it before on the show, but Slay the Spire.
Yes.
My favorite video game
He does love it.
Man, so when I talked about it before, I had just started playing it, and I was like, this is a fun game. You guys should check it out. Now, I've gone deep into understanding, into the lore. 2 guys built this whole game,
which is pretty amazing.
One of the most well-balanced games of all time. It's a deck builder, roguelike game, so you're building your deck as you try to climb this tower and defeat these bosses. It sounds corny and dumb, but it's actually really...
The strategy is cool.
The strategy is really cool. Every game is different because you get different cards each time, and so you have to decide... What kind of deck am I building? I've gotten these cards I've won so far. Well, what kind of strategy can I employ based on who the bosses are for that? It's just so much fun.
That's pretty cool.
It's a great game. They just announced they're going to make a second one.
Oh, really?
Why? Next year.
If it's already a perfect balanced game, just add to it.
Yeah, I think that's basically what the second one is going to be, is just more characters.
Oh, well, that's fine then. Yeah, that'll be good.
Which is it's crazy to think about because of how balanced each character is. It's just, man, it's a lot of fun. It's a game that kind of just crept up on me. If games go on sale on Steam, I might check this out and refund it if I don't like it or whatever. $3, $4, sure, I'll give it a shot. And then every once in a while, you just find some game, you don't even think about it, but then you realize, I've played this over the last week for a few hours, and I don't ever play video games, but I've made time to play this one at the end of the night or whatnot, and I just love it. And then you start looking up stuff about it, and you realize, this is actually a well thought out, put together game. Anyways,
This wasn't just AI generated.
No,
this
this
was
is-
2 men.
in all actuality, I thought, oh, this is kind of like this is like a gambling game where I hope I get lucky this run, I get the right cards. But what I read was that on the subreddit, Jordan,
The lore.
that apparently like every run is winnable if you are a good enough player. So every time I've lost, the many times I've lost, I could have won if I was a better player.
See, that's more fun.
Right.
That's infinitely more fun.
I think they found one seed one time that is unwinnable or something, but it's like of the millions that are out there. So, anyways, check
awesome.
out Slay the Spire. I don't know if it's on
still
sale
haven't
right now.
played it.
But
Is it 2-player? Can we play together?
no, it's one
Yeah,
player,
well,
but
that's
I'm
not
guessing
fun.
the second one will be co-op. I think because that's been a very
would be
requested
fun.
feature. Man, that would be great. I don't know how they would balance it though, but anyways, go check that out.
That's
The
the end
end.
of the episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode at my house. We might do this again over here. We haven't talked about maybe what we will do with the podcast. We haven't talked about that yet, but we'll save that for another day. But
Okay.
we're also thinking about
What are you talking about?
well,
Which one are you
not
talking
just changing the setup. We're
Oh,
talking
okay.
about changing
the other
the
stuff?
Yeah.
about? Okay.
We're talking about changing the setup a little bit, maybe having a couple different cameras, and so me and Josh, because look,
Multicam.
yeah, because I'm just sitting here staring at this, I'm like not even looking. So it's like, well, what if the camera was here and I could,
Yeah.
and we were sitting more
Yeah,
naturally.
it actually looked like we were having a conversation.
You came over and we were
there was
talking.
no talking to the camera.
Yeah, but we would still reference you guys.
Yeah.
Obviously. But it would feel more like me and you just actually sitting down and having a conversation. Because I feel like the podcast is the best when we do get deeper into conversations. We kind of forget that the camera's there. I feel like that's when it's most engaging. For me,
agree.
at least, when I'm
I
don't know what
would
other
agree
people
with
like,
that.
but
I would agree with that.
so we're gonna make some changes, maybe. So be on the lookout for that. But guys, thank you so much for watching. We will. What was that noise?
Pray that I am less sore next week.
Yes. Bye bye.